Okay, so the way I'm going to explain this is that if you're always feeling mentally exhausted, even though you are getting enough sleep, you're eating right, you're exercising, you might have diabetes. I'm joking, but I am allowed to use that disease as a punchline. You might actually just be suffering from an overactive mind or overthinking, which could be ADHD, but honestly, with the current attention span crisis, who doesn't have ADHD at this point, right? I mean, all you gotta do is say you're having troubles focusing and you get a free Adderall prescription. I'm not judging anybody. My point is that overthinking wastes large amount of energy, which can leave people to feeling exhausted. Too much of anything, even water, leads to negative effects. I think we are definitely seeing a rise in issues involving overthinking, and that is why in today's video, I'm going to quickly go over the concepts of cognitive load and mental overload, and I'm going to give you a real quick, easy fix for issues involving overthinking. It's going to be a short one today. So let's start off with cognitive load. Cognitive load is pretty much going to be the basis of everything we're talking about today, like the foundation. And essentially, it's just the mental effort that's required in order to process and retain information. It's kind of like the mental bandwidth that your mind has to work with at any given time. When it's manageable, you're able to do things right. Like you're flowing, you're getting work done, you're thinking through things, you're good. But when your cognitive load becomes too much, whether it's excessive stress, tasks, overthinking, it can push your mind to its limits, which then leads to mental overload. Now, overthinking directly adds to your cognitive load because you're, mentally cycling through the same thoughts, same feelings, just repeatedly, never ending, and you're just continuously adding more load that your mind can only handle so much. So instead of processing and working on new things, important things, solving actual problems, you're kind of just constantly wasting mental energy worrying about things that you're not really able to resolve. So yeah, instead of working on solving actual new problems and being productive, you're just overthinking and wasting that energy, which then leads you to eventually have the mental overload. And now let's talk about mental overload. Mental overload happens when your mind gets overwhelmed or overloaded by too much overthinking. So you're constantly replaying scenarios, weighing options, and analyzing all these little details until your brain just can't keep up. It's feeling like when you're just stuck in your head, ruminating, and your mind just won't shut off. You're going to start to feel anxious, scattered, and not really able to focus. Decisions are going to be harder, your sleep might get interrupted, and the mental exhaustion from all of that overthinking starts to weigh on you. You're like a hamster on a wheel, running and running, spinning the wheel of your mind, and just tiring yourself out, all while getting absolutely nowhere and probably not looking as cute as an actual hamster would. Whether it's obsessing over the past, overthinking about the future, or just trying to figure everything out at once, overthinking gets you stuck in a trap that's just a wheel that's consuming your mental energy. Now, I just thought of the hamster wheel thing because it's kind of cute, right? But if you actually think about it, our brain is literally like a computer. That's the way I like to think about it. And if you just imagine having like 100 tabs open on your computer while you're downloading a movie or something, your computer's fried. It's not going to do anything at all. Even the most simple things it's going to struggle with. And I think that the same goes for our thoughts and how our brain is able to function based on how many thoughts we're having. Now let's talk about the solution. The answer here is really simple. We just need to be conscious of how many tabs that we have open in our mind. You then need to remember the cognitive load that you're wasting whenever you're overthinking. If it's not productive or if it's just never ending, there needs to be a point where you become conscious of that and you realize you need to stop. If you don't, you're just going to keep yourself like that hamster on the wheel, exhausting yourself and out of the present moment. Stopping this doesn't involve just thinking, hey, stop thinking about that. We know that doesn't work. I mean, if I told you, don't think about a pink elephant, try that right now. You're going to think about a pink elephant. I often like to think that these thoughts really aren't going anywhere. They aren't doing anything but wasting my energy, and it's probably a good idea to let this go. That's what I try and think whenever I'm catching myself overthinking. Now, sometimes depending on the situation, I'm not a Zen master. I still get stuck on it a little bit, but that's really all it is. It's pretty simple. Just continue catching yourself with the overthinking and becoming more comfortable with just letting that energy kind of just roll off without having to like engage in it and just waste a bunch of mental energy on nothing. There's this YouTuber I really like. His name's Hamza, and he once talked about this concept called it was like brain points. And we only have like X amount of brain points in a day. Say we have like 100. Overthinking is going to waste a lot of those brain points. And if you have less brain points that you used on literally doing nothing but overthinking something, then you're going to have less ones to use on stuff that's actually important, like doing work or having, meaningful present conversations. You're not just like on autopilot, half-assed talking to somebody while you're thinking of all that stuff you're not supposed to be overthinking. So that's the solution. Recognizing your patterns of thinking when it's going in the wrong direction, and then stopping, which requires mindfulness and some separation from your thoughts. Easier said than done. Everyone's going to fail at this. I admit that I fail at it a lot. But luckily, both mindfulness and separation from your thoughts can be improved through meditation. And there's many different ways to meditate, but the following two methods are my go-to simple methods. So number one, you just sit still, legs crossed, or really any position you want. I prefer to sit cross-legged with my back against like a wall or something. It's just good for the back support. And just close your eyes. Don't move and don't react to your thoughts. The point of meditation is not to just be free of thoughts. You're not going to sit down and your mind's going to turn off. It doesn't work that way. You're definitely going to find yourself thinking, but the point is to get faster at catching yourself when you're drifting away into these thoughts and then returning back to your breath. The whole point is really just to focus on your breath, and sometimes that might even require thinking about it. But again, the goal is just not getting lost thinking about, oh, what am I going to do for dinner later, or thinking about your finances or something like that. Just return to the breath when you find yourself doing those things. I recommend starting with 5 minutes. Just set a 5-minute alarm on your phone, and you can gradually increase that by 1 minute or even 30 seconds as you feel more comfortable doing so. Now, the second method is just take a walk. Don't wear headphones. Don't bring your phone if possible. Just focus on your breath and the environment. How many noises can you identify? How many scents can you smell? What sensations do you have, like feeling the sun on your skin or feeling the breeze? The point is to walk and just be free of worry for 5 to 10 minutes or as long as you like. So that's the two meditations, but the big tip I'm going to give you here is your mind's probably going to be addicted to overthinking to a certain extent. You got to recognize this and don't give in to that feeling. It might feel oddly satisfying or comfortable to, continue to go down that path of, oh, I need to keep thinking about this, but it really is detrimental to your mental health. So you just got to recognize that that's happening and tell yourself, oh, that feels good, but I know that's wrong. Don't do that. That was oddly sexualized, that comparison there, but I promise that was not intentional. But that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. I told you it'd be a quick one. Just remember, overthinking, it's a waste of time. It's a habit like any other, and it's a bad one. We know that it wastes our energy, it wastes our time, and it really just doesn't make you feel good. So keep that in mind. Do the meditations, be mindful, stay in charge. Remember, it's your mind. You got to control it. It really is you versus you in this life. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. I appreciate you stopping in today, hanging out, checking out the content. I really do hope you learned something. I hope you found this valuable. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care, everybody.